Hi everyone, today we're covering 25 questions that you will likely see on the Minnesota real estate exam. My name is Bob Wolotka and I am a real estate exam trainer here at US Realty Training. If you like this video, then you will love our exam prep package, don't you know? Because you get practice exams, vocabulary flashcards, explainer videos, a study guide, and a whole lot more. Click the link in the description and comments below to get the package going today. Now come along to the first question. Which of these is a requirement for firms with multiple locations? A, the primary broker is responsible only for the firm's primary location. B, the firm must hire a licensed broker for each location to function as the primary broker. C, the firm must hire a broker for each location to act on behalf of the brokerage. Or D, each location must hire a primary broker and a managing broker. The correct answer is C, the firm must hire a broker for each location to act on behalf of the brokerage. All firms with multiple locations must hire a licensed broker to act on behalf of the brokerage. A firm's primary broker remains responsible for all brokerage locations. Which of these statements about the Real Estate Education, Research, and Recovery Fund is true? We're looking for the true one. A fee on only brokers' licenses supports the fund. B, a licensee on whose behalf the fund compensates a consumer must repay the fund to be considered for license reinstatement. C, there is no cap on damages the fund can award to an individual claimant or for a single licensee. Or D, the commission will permanently revoke the license of any licensee on whose behalf the fund compensates a consumer. The correct answer is B, a licensee on whose behalf the fund compensates a consumer must repay the fund to be considered for license reinstatement. The commission will suspend the license of any licensee on whose behalf the fund compensates a consumer. The licensee must reimburse the fund for amounts expended plus interest and additional punitive fees before the commission will reinstate the license. Minnesota's standards of conduct require that licensees disclose which of these to prospective clients? A, licensee credentials. B, commission split details. C, agency relationships. Or D, number of years licensed. The correct answer is C, agency relationships. Licensees must provide potential clients with an agency disclosure form that outlines available agency relationships. Within how many days of contract ratification must an earnest money check be deposited? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 5? The correct answer is C, 3 days. Licensees must deposit earnest money into an appropriate trust account within 3 days of purchase contract being signed by all parties. Which of these is an example of dual agency? A firm represents John as both a buyer and a seller. B, a firm represents the buyer and the seller in a single transaction. C, a firm represents a seller who is listing multiple properties. Or D, one firm represents a client as a seller and another firm represents the same client as a buyer. The correct answer is B, a firm represents the buyer and the seller in a single transaction. Dual agency occurs when either a firm or a single licensee represents both the buyer and the seller in a single transaction. Which of these situations is an example of commingling? A, placing a client's earnest money in a non-trust fund account. B, depositing earnest money in a trust account. C, using personal funds to pay for a client's lunch. Or D, dispersing earnest money according to contract terms. The correct answer is A, placing a client's earnest money in a non-trust fund account. Commingling occurs when trust funds such as earnest money are mixed with operating or personal funds. Licensees must place earnest money in an approved trust account. What is the purpose of a protective list? A, it protects licensees from clients who aren't serious about buying or selling. B, it details information about buyers or sellers who were introduced to a property before a brokerage agreement expired. C, it provides information about properties located in the boundaries of any environmentally unsafe regions. Or D, it outlines the protections available to sellers if a buyer terminates a purchase contract. The correct answer is B. It details information about buyers or sellers who were introduced to a property before a brokerage agreement expired. Licensees must provide a protective list to clients within 72 hours of a brokerage agreement's termination to be able to enforce the override clause. When must sellers disclose how sewage is handled on the property? A, anytime before closing. B, after signing a purchase agreement. C, before signing a purchase agreement. Or D, when delivery the property condition statement. The correct answer is C, before signing a purchase agreement. Before signing a purchase agreement, sellers must disclose if wastewater from a property goes to a permitted treatment facility or to an on-site septic system. A salesperson received a commission check directly from the closing agent. Is this legal? A, no. Licensees may not receive compensation through anyone but their primary broker. B, yes. Closing agents are considered pseudo-brokers for commission payments. C, yes, if the salesperson discloses the payment to the primary broker. Or D, yes, if the broker has given permission for direct payment to the salesperson. The correct answer is D, yes, if the broker has given permission for direct payment to the salesperson. With the broker's permission, licensees may receive a commission payment directly from the closing firm or agent. Key thing to look out for there is broker permission. Select the action that is not considered discriminatory under Minnesota's Human Rights Act. Remember, not. A, charging an additional security deposit for a service animal. B, garnering listings by warning residents that changes to a neighborhood's demographics will negatively impact property values. C, using gender to reject an applicant who will rent rooms in an owner's private residence. Or D, prohibiting tenants from making reasonable modifications to a unit to accommodate a disability. The correct answer, which is not, is C, using gender to reject an applicant who will rent rooms in an owner's private residence. Homeowners are permitted to discriminate based on some protected classes, including gender, if the property to be rented is a room or rooms in the homeowner's private residence. Discrimination based on race is never permitted. Which of the following actions must a broker perform to supervise a licensee properly? A, review the licensee's personal accounting records. B, require the licensee to work during hours the office is open. C, accompany the licensee on all listing appointments. Or D, review the licensee's transaction-related documents. The correct answer is D, review the licensee's transaction-related documents. Broker supervision requires that the primary broker review a licensee's transaction-related documents, but not the licensee's personal accounting records. Each of the following individuals holds a real estate license. Which of these individuals would not be considered a primary broker? Very careful. Look out for not, except, false. They can mess you up. A corporate officer who serves as a broker for the corporation. B, a partner who acts as a broker for the partnership. C, a broker who works under the supervision of another broker. Or D, an individual broker on whose behalf other licensees are permitted to act. Now, the correct answer here is C, a broker who works under the supervision of another broker. A primary broker is either an individual on whose behalf other licensees perform tasks requiring a license, or a corporate officer or partner who acts as a broker on behalf of an entity that holds a broker's license. In my case, I am a licensed broker. However, my license is hung under another broker. Which of these compensation practices is illegal? A brokerage firm shares the listing commission with the buyer's brokerage firm. B, a brokerage firm splits its commission in a 60-40 ratio with its licensees. C, a property management company provides a month's free rent to a tenant who refers another tenant to the property. Or D, a salesperson splits a commission with the salesperson's unlicensed assistant. The correct answer is D, a salesperson splits a commission with the salesperson's unlicensed assistant. Licensees may not pay a referral or finder's fee, rebate, or commission splits to unlicensed individuals. Licensees may rebate a portion of their commission to clients. Which of these is true of a married couple who wishes to sell their homestead property to their children? A, both spouses must sign off on the sale. B, either spouse can convey the property in a sale to a family member. C, the couple must petition the court to convey a homestead property. Or D, the spouses may not provide signatures by attorney in fact. The correct answer is A, both spouses must sign off on the sale. When a married couple sells a homestead property, both parties must sign the conveyance documents. When must a licensee provide a protective list to a buyer or seller to protect his or her commission status? A, when all parties sign the brokerage agreement. B, at closing. C, within 72 hours of brokerage agreement termination. Or D, when a client signs a brokerage agreement with another licensee. The correct answer is C, within 72 hours of brokerage agreement termination. To be able to enforce an override clause, licensees must provide a protective list to clients within 72 hours of terminating a brokerage agreement. Which of these actions would sever a joint tenancy? A, divorce. B, incapacitation of one of the joint tenants. C, marriage of one or both joint tenants. Or D, adding an additional joint tenant to the deed. The correct answer is A, divorce. Certain court actions, including divorce, may terminate a joint tenancy. Which of these statements best defines a condominium? A multi-story building with individually owned units. B, a multi-story building that prohibits leased units. C, a common interest community with individually owned units and common ownership of all common areas. Or D, a common interest community with individually owned units and reserves rights for all common areas. The correct answer is C, a common interest community with individually owned units and common ownership of all common areas. The term condominium doesn't refer to a specific type of building, but rather to a type of ownership. And in this case, it was the longest answer, and many times that's the right one. What is chain of title? A, the list of all parties who have ever owned real estate. B, the bundle of rights linked to the recorded title to a parcel. C, a chronology of successive owners of a record of a parcel of real estate. Or D, involuntary conveyance of title by statutory rules of descent. The correct answer is C, a chronology of successive owners of record of a parcel of real estate. Chain of title refers to the succession of owners of record dating back to the original grant of title from state to a private party. It is thus more than a mere list. It is a chronological list as reflected in title records. Which of the following provides the strongest evidence of marketable title? A, a general warranty deed. B, a title certificate. C, title insurance. Or D, an attorney's opinion. The correct answer is C, title insurance. A title insurance policy indemnifies the policyholder against losses arising from defects in the title and is thus generally accepted as the best evidence of marketability after a torn certificate, which is not available in every jurisdiction. A signed deed is no evidence of marketability, only of an intent to convey title. An attorney's opinion and a title certificate, while forms of evidence of marketability, do not guarantee clear title or offer any protection against a defective title. Maria acquires a property from her uncle Alfonso. When Maria dies, the estate will pass to Alfonso's other niece, Serena. The type of estate that Maria has in the property is A, conventional life estate. B, legal life estate. C, fee simple defeasible estate. Or D, tenancy by the entireties. The correct answer is A, conventional life estate. A conventional life estate is a freehold estate that is limited in duration to the life of the owner or other named person. Upon the death of the owner or other named individual, the estate passes to the original owner or another named party. A legal life estate is created by law as opposed to a property owner's choice. Which of these statements about foreclosure processes is correct? A, foreclosure by advertisement is a judicial process accomplished through a short sale clause in the mortgage documents. B, foreclosure by advertisement requires that borrowers vacate the property before the foreclosure process. C, foreclosure by action is a judicial process that requires lenders to file a lawsuit to foreclose. Or D, Minnesota does not permit a borrower's redemption period in the foreclosure process if advertising is used. The correct answer is C, foreclosure by action is a judicial process that requires lenders to file a lawsuit to foreclose. Minnesota recognizes foreclosure by advertisement, which is a non-judicial process, and foreclosure by action, which requires that lenders file a lawsuit to foreclose. A buyer and seller agree to use the property inspection report in lieu of the property condition disclosure. The seller receives a copy of the inspection report and notices that damage to a basement window does not appear on the report. What is the seller's obligation in this situation, if any? A, the seller has an obligation to notify the buyer that the inspection report may be incomplete but is not required to provide details. B, the inspection report error invalidates it as a disclosure option, so the seller must provide the full seller disclosure form. C, the seller must disclose the discrepancy between the seller's knowledge of the property and the report. Or D, the seller has no obligation to disclose the discrepancy since the buyer agreed to accept the inspection report in lieu of the disclosure. The correct answer is C, the seller must disclose the discrepancy between the seller's knowledge of the property and the report. The seller is obligated to notify the buyer of the discrepancy between the report and what the seller knows to be true about the property. An enforceable real estate contract in Minnesota does not require which of these? A, agreement is in writing. B, agreement shows a notary seal. C, agreement includes consideration. Or D, agreement is signed by the parties. The correct answer is B, agreement shows a notary seal. The Minnesota Statute of Frauds requires that real estate agreements be in writing, include consideration, and be signed by the parties. The statute does not require notarization. Minnesota landlord-tenant laws prohibits landlords from A, including start and end dates on all lease agreements. B, entering the leased property at any time. C, releasing tenants from a lease for domestic violence concerns. Or D, evicting tenants. The correct answer is B, entering the leased property at any time. Landlords must enter leased property only at reasonable times and with proper notice to tenants, except in case of emergency. For a newly constructed home purchased from a developer, which of the following must be covered by a home warranty if the failure occurs 3 years after the purchase date? A, the closet doors fall off their racks. B, the foundation begins to crack. C, the air conditioner stops working. Or D, the hot tub installed after construction springs a leak. The correct answer is B, the foundation begins to crack. The 1-to-10 new construction warranty must cover major construction defects such as foundation for up to 10 years. The 2 years is usually fit and finish. Doors falling off their tracks. And that's 25 questions. Remember, if you want to make studying for the real estate exam easy, then get our exam prep package. Click the link in the comments or description below to get it today. And if you want another video just like this one, then check out this video out right here. I'll see you next time. Don't you know?